The music was too loud to hear her phone ringing. Again. Purple lights spun over her head as she raised a glass of champagne, laughing in the middle of a crowded rooftop in New York. Her black sequined dress shimmered with every move, her long braids swinging as she danced without a care. This was her world, the noise, the freedom, the spotlight. "Cheers to graduation," someone shouted. "To freedom," she replied, tipping her glass back. She didn't care that it was 2 a.m. She didn't care that her phone had vibrated 6 times in her purse. She was done with university, done with stress, and ready to live. Finally, it was time to build her brand, tour the world, launch her lifestyle blog, and maybe even host a few wild brunches in Mykonos. Nigeria? That was the last place on her mind. But by morning, the 7th call came. Not from her assistant. Not from her friend. From her father. The music was still ringing in Rose's head. Not from the airport speakers or the engine of the private jet that flew her into Lagos. No, this was leftover bass from the last party she'd attended in Manhattan. Rooftop, glittering, unforgettable. She had danced with CEOs and clinked glasses with actors. She was somebody out there. A storm in heels, a name that lived on luxury guest lists. So, when her father's driver picked her up from the airport with no welcome bouquet, no smiles, and a stiff silence all through a Koi, she should have known something was off. But Rose was too busy looking out the window, planning her next move. She was home in Nigeria now, but not for long. She had come to build her network, host events, maybe start a brand, and of course, jet off again whenever she pleased. The gates of her family mansion creaked open, tall and regal, like her father's legacy. Everything still gleamed, white walls, security dogs, trimmed hedges, but it felt tight, uninviting, like even the wind was watching her. She entered the sitting room, her heels clicking on the marble floors. Her father sat alone, back straight, a sealed envelope resting on the table before him. No smile, no welcome, my daughter. Just a low, thunderous voice. Sit down. Rose dropped her designer bag on the couch and folded her arms. What's this? No champagne? No music? Not even a fake hug? Sit, Rose. She rolled her eyes and sank into the chair, crossing her legs like the runway model she almost became. Her father slid the envelope toward her. Gold-stamped. Heavy. Final. This is your future, he said. She opened it slowly. Inside were printed papers. Legal, thick, and silent like a trap. A marriage contract. She blinked once. Then again. I'm sorry, what? You'll marry the heir to a powerful Korean conglomerate, he said simply, as if reading her a weather report. The deal is sealed. He arrives next week. Rose burst into laughter. Real, loud, unbothered laughter. Daddy, did you hit your head while I was gone? You want me to marry a stranger because of some business deal? Not just business, he said. This secures your inheritance. Your late mother's wish, and it's only through this you can unlock your inheritance. Without this marriage, you get nothing from the inheritance. The air thinned. Rose stood up slowly. So, let me get this straight. You're telling me that after building my life abroad, after finishing university in New York, after surviving everything out there, my reward is being married into some billionaire's household like I'm for sale. You came back to build your name here, her father said, his voice like iron. I gave you a name, and now I'm giving you a legacy. I don't want it like this. She snapped. I'm not marrying anyone, especially not some business man I've never even met. Then pack your things and leave, he said. But you leave with nothing. The words hit harder than the slap she expected. Nothing. No access to the trust fund. No properties in her name. No rights to her mother's estate. Just her passport and a return ticket to nowhere. That night, Rose locked herself in her room, heart racing like a war drum. Her fingers scrolled through her phone, checking flights, texting friends, calling travel agents. She would leave tomorrow. First flight out. But her name, her legacy, was now a game piece in her father's empire. And she had just realized running wasn't as easy when your whole life was chained to a contract. The next morning, Rose packed like a woman on the run. Her wardrobe was chaos. Dresses tossed over her bed, heels spilling from open suitcases, sunglasses clinking against bottles of perfume. She moved fast, lips pursed, playlist blaring Afrobeats as though the rhythm could drown out her father's words. No marriage, no inheritance. She scoffed, zipping a red duffel. Then I guess I'll make my own money. Her phone buzzed. Flight confirmation. 10 a.m. Lagos to Cape Town, then straight to the Maldives. Her idea of healing. Rose had survived worse. This was just a rich man's tantrum in a silk suit. Or so she thought. She rolled her suitcase to the front hall, only to find the house gates locked. Armed guards at both exits. Not the regular ones either. They wore black. New uniforms. Hands clasped behind their backs like shadows waiting for command. "What is this?" she demanded. The butler stepped forward, bowed slightly. "Your father said you're not to leave the premises, Miss Rose." Rose blinked. "Is this a kidnapping?"
"No, ma'am,"
he said to tell you. "When you're ready to talk, the terms will be waiting in the study." The study smelled like old paper and quiet threats. Her father didn't even glance up when she barged in. "You've lost your mind," she hissed. He pushed a thick envelope toward her, sealed in wax. "Inside are the terms of your inheritance. Read it, reject it, or adjust to it. Any decision you make would determine your future. If you want to leave, then you won't be part of the Williams family. But understand, this is final." She opened the envelope slowly. Her pulse rose with every line. Clause 1. Immediately after graduation, she must be legally married within 30 days of returning to Nigeria. Clause 2. The marriage must be to the family-approved partner, Mr. Jae Ho Min. Clause 3. The marriage must last a minimum of 1 year. Separation or divorce nullifies the inheritance. Clause 4. Any breach terminates all access to family wealth, properties, and partnerships. Her hand trembled slightly. Not because of fear, but fury. She looked up. "You're trading my life for a merger?" Her father finally spoke, his voice calm but cold. "This is bigger than you, Rose. You think I raised you to take pictures in bikinis and chase clout across continents?" She rose to her feet.
"No."
"You raised me to be strong. So don't act shocked when I fight back." But he wasn't moved. "Then fight smart.
"Stay.
Play your part.
Take the year.
After that, you can disappear. But right now, your late mother's wish stands." It was a Monday afternoon when they arrived. Rose was outside, lounging by the pool in a flowing robe, dark shades on, iced drink in hand, pretending like she hadn't just cried herself to sleep the night before. The mansion staff moved around nervously, whispering about guests from Korea, high-level businessmen, and how even the security had been tightened. She didn't care. Or at least, that's what she told herself. She stood up, leaving the pool side. The house was too quiet for a welcome. The soft click of Rose's heels echoed off the white marble floor as she stood at the top of the stairs, eyeing the long dining table below. Everything was set, gold cutlery, crystal glasses, wine chilling in a silver bucket, yet no warmth in sight. The whole mansion looked like a stage, and she, the unwilling star of a play she didn't audition for. Her father was already seated, straight-backed, stern-eyed, his chin tilted in that way he always did when he wanted obedience, without asking for it. And beside him, sitting with the disinterest of a man forced to attend a charity dinner, was Jae Ho. Rose caught her breath, not because he was attractive, no. He was like someone born into winter and raised in silence. His suit was tailored to perfection. No creases. No movement. His eyes scanned nothing. Not even her. Not once. The chair scraped lightly as Rose took her seat across from him. She wore red, a bold, silken statement. Her neckline was daring, her earrings loud. If he was cold, she was fire. But fire needs air to burn, and Jae Ho wasn't offering a single breath. Her father cleared his throat. "This is Mr. Min's son. Jae Ho, the one you'll be marrying." Jae Ho didn't blink. Rose crossed her legs slowly, letting silence settle before flashing a smile so fake it sparkled. "Oh, fantastic. I always wanted to marry a statue. He said nothing, just a slow reach for his glass of water, then a sip, like she hadn't spoken. Her father's jaw clenched. Rose.
What?
He's clearly not here to mingle. Mr. Min chuckled politely, trying to hold the atmosphere together like cracked porcelain. Our sons are focused men, Miss Rose. They believe in duty more than words. Well, I believe in vacation more than vows, she shot back, her voice sugar-wrapped steel. I already made plans to leave tomorrow. I'll just send the ring by mail. Her father slammed his palm lightly against the table. There will be no travel, Rose. Try and stop me, she whispered, smiling with her eyes. Jae-ho finally looked up, but not at her. Just toward the window, bored. Like he was waiting for this scene to end. The silence that followed was almost sacred. Thick with pride, disappointment, and the clink of cutlery as dinner was served. 2 people. 1 table. A deal none of them wanted. But the game had only just begun. The chandelier sparkled like the flash of paparazzi bulbs as the golden pen touched paper. Their names were scrawled in neat, final strokes across the contract that would change their lives. Not with love, not with dreams, but with duty. A few days later, the newly registered couple arrived in Korea. Rose crossed her legs slowly, deliberately. Her nails were bright red, matching her lips, and her smile was the kind of smile that belonged on magazine covers. Sweet, enchanting, disarming. She knew the camera was watching. And so, she delivered her performance.
Click.
She leaned gently toward Jae-ho, brushing her shoulder against his in the most loving way possible. Our second official photo as a married couple, she whispered, honey dripping from her voice, the corners of her lips never dropping. Don't forget to smile, Appa. Jae-ho, the cold-eyed heir, barely twitched. His father stood behind him, nodding stiffly at the photographers. With a small, almost robotic lift of his lips, he gave the cameras what they needed. A smile. Sort of. But his eyes, they didn't join in. And yet, to the outside world, they looked perfect. He held her waist as they walked out of the hall. Firm, steady, the grip of a man in control. She leaned into it like a trophy wife ready to rule the internet. Hashtags would fly. Hashtag knew it couple, hashtag Thejagroup Nulov, hashtag Rose and Jay. But when the doors to their shared home in Seoul clicked shut, everything changed. Rose pulled off her heels and tossed them aside like old news. She walked straight past him, her smile disappearing as fast as the sparkle in her eyes. No need to keep pretending now, she said, dropping her clutch on the couch. That was fun. Jae-ho turned slowly. You're good at this, he said, as he turned slowly. His expression was the same as usual, but his gaze lingered longer than usual. Rose raised a brow, already halfway toward her room. Decent acting is a survival skill. You should try it sometime. He didn't reply, just stood there, watching. Not like he hadn't seen her before. Not in the lavish hallways of her father's Lagos mansion. Not during the polite introductions. But now, with the performance peeled off her face and the lights dimmed, something was different. No lashes. No staged laughter. Just Rose in soft lighting, barefoot, her hair loose, her face real. Beautiful, in a sharp, effortless way. The kind that wasn't trying too hard. The kind that didn't care to impress. She disappeared into her room without another word. Jae-ho didn't move for a few seconds. Just stared at the door she closed behind her. Strange, he thought. He had agreed to this marriage with the coldest mindset, uninterested, uninvested. But somehow, the woman playing wife for the world was more fascinating when the cameras stopped rolling. She knew exactly how to act for the cameras. Sweet smiles, dreamy eyes, fingers laced with his like they were soulmates fresh out of a romance drama. If anyone watched them from the outside, they'd agree she was head over heels in love. Maybe even write fanfiction about it. But now, she moved like a woman switching off a performance. No emotion, no lingering stares, just straight up get out of my way energy. Jae-ho frowned slightly. Not because he cared, but because, well, if he didn't know better, he would have believed the act too. And somehow, that was more dangerous than her being openly hostile. They didn't talk over dinner. They didn't talk before bed. The house was big enough to hold 100 words, yet only footsteps and the clink of cutlery filled it. But the next day, Rose was all sparkles again. She wore soft pink, looped her arm through Jaeho's, and laughed like a girl in love. The cameras adored her. His father approved. The staff whispered that maybe, just maybe, this was a love story in disguise. But Jae-ho knew better. This girl, this wife, wasn't what she seemed. And she was a little too good at her performance.